All right. Mariners are taking calls on Castillo. We kind of heard rumors, flying around last week. Red Sox checked in on him. There was big rumors on that, maybe possibly moving Tristan Cassis and a couple others for Castillo. Haven't heard really much other than that, except for there's four teams calling on him right now: the Orioles, the Cubs, the Red Sox, and the Mets. So where do you think the best fit for Castillo is other than Seattle? Because I mean, if he's in that rotation again, I mean, that's one of the best rotations in baseball. They just can't hit. That's the Mariners' problem. Um, but if he's not in Seattle, where do you see his best fit?
And I think the best fit for him would be Baltimore. Baltimore needs an ace. They need a top of the rotation guy. They're not going to sign Burns at $40 million a year. My understanding is they've stopped. The two sides have stopped talking. So Burns back to Baltimore is pretty much dead. I mean, I can't imagine the Cubs have space for Castillo. Maybe if Bellinger moves, there would be space for him. Maybe Bellinger's part of that deal. Who knows?
Mm.
Um, I mean, I think all four teams are great locations for him, but I think Baltimore's the best because they need an ace. He would be the guy immediately. And I think he'd like being on that younger, exciting team that can hit because he's gotten like no run support the last couple of years.
Right. I mean, this is a complete homer pick, but I would love to see him in that Red Sox rotation behind Garrett Crochet. And either, you have him as the ace, you have Crochet second, and then back him up with Tanner Houck or Brian Bayo. I mean, I think that rotation immediately takes a big jump forward. The Mets need starting pitching badly.
Yeah.
And would the Mets look on moving Brett Beatty? They're not high on Brett Beatty. Maybe the Mets move Brett Beatty and another piece. I mean, you got Luis Angel Acuna. I know
Who's a stud.
he's a stud. You just got him from Texas,
He might be better
but
than his brother. The
yeah,
jury's out.
yeah, yeah. He's tearing up. What is it? Arizona Fall League or
Just absolutely
Venezuelan
he's been
Winter
destroying the
League?
minor leagues in the fall league, and
Yeah,
now he's somewhere in South America tearing that up too.
yeah. I think the Venezuelan Winter
Yep.
League. I think. So maybe the Mets, get him because, like I said, they need some starters in there. But
I think
I
I
don't
think the
know.
important part with Castillo to keep in mind is that he's about $24 million a year, but you've got 4 years of him.
Right.
So he's under contract for 25, 26, 27 with a vesting option for 28 when he turns 35. Likely easy to make that vest. So you're talking about 4 years with him at 24-ish $1 million a year. That is a huge discount to going out on the open market and finding a pitcher of his caliber. So if I'm a team like the Orioles, that's even more attractive to me because now I've got cost certainty for an ace at a price I can afford. Whereas the Mets, Red Sox, and Cubs would all like that, but they don't need that like the Orioles do. Like the Orioles are in a spot where they kind of need that because they've got, and their new ownership group has got buku bucks. So it's not a matter of can't spend any money.
Right.
The issue the Orioles have is they got a bunch of guys coming up that are going to need contracts. Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rushman, just among some. You've got to make sure you've got enough left to sign all those guys too.
Yeah.
And making a commitment to Corbin Burns for $40 million a year takes some of those options away.
It takes almost all your options away. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as much as this group can spend, I don't think they're going to look to just light bags of money on fire. They're going to be smart about it, and
Yeah.
having an ace for the next 4 years at $24 million a year versus 40 gives you a lot of flexibility.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you sandwich him in between Imanaga and Justin Steele too. I mean, that's not a bad 1, 2, 3.
No, that rotation would be nasty. I mean, he
Yeah.
would be the ace in New York. He would probably be the number 2 in Boston behind Crochet. Maybe the ace. I guess it depends how you see those guys. Not the ace in Chicago, but he'd be probably the number 2 guy, maybe 3. Definitely the ace in Baltimore.
Yeah.
I think for a guy like Castillo, who's 32, who's coming up on 32 years old, he's got a few more years on this contract. Who knows if he extends beyond this contract? It's kind of like, where do you want to play? Like, these are all teams that are going to contend. They're all teams that could win. But where do you want to go?
Yeah, but I think it's also the Mariners being like, we need hitters. So
Oh,
if
they
you're
need
not,
bats so bad.
if you're not giving me the right package back to at least get one run a game on the board from the guys that are going out and throwing up goose eggs every inning,
Yeah.
then I'm not trading Castillo. Like I need a Tristan Cassis back and then maybe a Roman Anthony if I'm going from the Red Sox. I need an Acuna from the Mets. I need, you know what I mean? Like I need bats badly now. And if you're not going to give me bats, I'm not interested.
Well, I think where the Mariners are trapped a little bit is they don't just need bats; they need like major league ready bats.
Right.
Like Acuna is a great piece, but like, is he going to be on the roster next year? Probably not. Probably a year away. Whereas if you call the Red Sox and get a guy like Casas included in a deal, well, he's going to hit for you right away, and he might be
Right.
the best hitter on your team right away.
Right.
You call on a Roman Anthony, and he's probably still a year away. But he's a hell of a piece to have coming down the pipeline. And then you got the Orioles who have a bazillion hitters at AAA that are all probably major league ready. They just don't have a spot.
Right.
So you can kind of take your pick. So it's,
Yeah.
I definitely, the Mariners so desperately need offense. It's not even funny. They're not going to spend on it. They got to use him as a trade chip to get it. I think the team that can offer them the best package of major league ready talent is probably the Red Sox, with the Orioles right behind them.